I hope that you're all doing good. So, I asked you guys in a post what video we should do this Thursday, what theme, and the majority of you voted for Am I the A-hole dating edition. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be reading a bunch of stories from Am I the A-hole Reddit, and they're all going to be dating themed, and we're going to determine whether these people are in the right or in the wrong. To those of you who wanted something different, don't worry. Those videos are still gonna come. I just wanted to know what order people would like to see it in, and majority voted this video first, so okay. I have my trusty okay, so I have my trusty iPad here. My hair's a mess. Please don't mind that. It's been so static the past couple weeks, and I don't know why, but it's been driving me crazy. And it's very hot in this room right now, because of course I've had to turn the fan off, because it's far too loud. Before we get started, as always, if you do like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I know everyone's sick of hearing it, but it really does help a lot, and I appreciate it very much. All credits will be in the description below, and the links to the original posters and their stories. Okay. The first story is by Gerkins82732, and it's titled, Am I the A-hole for stranding a date without a ride because she was ignoring me? So, last weekend I went on a Tinder date with a girl who I've been chatting to for a while. It was our second date, and I thought things were going pretty well. We ended up at this rowdy bar a bit far out, 30 to 40 minutes, which I recommended. It was good fun until she sees someone she knows, this guy she went to college with, and they start chatting. I awkwardly tried to join in, but I'm basically ignored. I leave them to it, to go get some food and come back like 30 minutes later. They're still chatting. I stand around like an idiot, trying to join in the convo, but at one point the guy literally blocks me out with his back, and my date says and does nothing. They back into a corner and only talk to each other. At this point I go out and grab a smoke. She comes out after me and apologizes. Says she hasn't seen this guy in ages. I tell her that's cool, but I'm just gonna head home soon. She asks me to wait for her because she doesn't have a ride and it's far from home. So, I wait because whatever. Night is ruined and I might as well just hang out. I wait another 20 before heading back inside to tell her I'm going home and she can either come with me or stay. I see them in the same corner with the guy blocking my view. I try to talk to her, but he keeps standing to block me away. I gesture to her that I'm going, and she holds up a finger like, wait a minute, and instead of coming to talk to me, she just keeps talking to her friend. I've had it at this point, and I just text her, leaving now, bye, and head straight to my car and leave. I get frantic calls about 15 minutes later. She asks me where I am and if I could go back and pick her up since she doesn't have a ride, and her friend doesn't live close to her like I do. I say no and hang up. Anyways, the next day I get the longest, angriest chain of texts in my life. She's upset because I left her with no ride and she had to beg the bartender to call her a cab because she ran out of cash and can't get Uber/Lyft for some reason. She calls me a piece of shit and to never call her again, and that she'll be telling everyone she knows not to ever go on a date with me. My roommate and his girlfriend both agreed that the girl sucks, but they think I should have just waited longer and made sure she got home. Am I the a-hole for what I did? No, definitely not. At least not in my opinion. Someone in the comments said, seems like she got confused about the difference between Tinder and Uber, and even an Uber driver would have ditched her at least 5 to 10 minutes before you did. That just about sums it up, to be honest. I mean, if you go on a date with someone, or even if you just go on like a friend date, go and hang out with someone, if you then proceed to ignore them the entire time, that is like one of the most shitty things somebody can do, in my opinion. And you are not their friend or a good date or anything like that. If I was out on a date or with a friend and I saw somebody that I hadn't seen in a while, I'd talk to them for a minute, I'd introduce them to the person I was with, and I'd make sure they were as involved as they felt comfortable in their scenario, and then I'd move along, because I'm not there to see that person. I'm there to hang out with, weird throat noise, sorry, I'm there to hang out with whoever it was that I came with. And he gave her plenty of chances to leave with him, so that's her own fault. And also, I'm sorry, but she's an adult. She can figure her stuff out by herself, especially if she wants to act the way that she did. So yeah, not the ALLL. Not the ALLL. Okay, this next one is by Drumsticks23. It's titled, Am I the a-hole for dating and sleeping with someone else's girl? Hi guys, I've been quite lost recently and hoping if there's anyone here who can give me some insight about my current predicament. Last year was kind of a roller coaster ride for me, as I've experienced 2 relationship breakups. Ever since my last breakup, I've been active on a few dating apps. Being on casual dates has been my weekend agenda for almost every single week. Two months ago, I was matched with a 22-year-old girl, M. We began talking, went on a few dates. She even stayed over at my place for several times in a row. Oh no, sorry, for several times now. She is a part-time student currently in her final year in business law, and she's also running an F&B business. I knew something was odd whenever she refused to show or let me follow her on Instagram, claiming that she's no longer on the app. One day I found out that she was indeed still on Instagram, and she has a boyfriend of 4 years. I was devastated and confronted her immediately. However, she claimed that it's been on and off. She claimed that she was secretly hoping that I'll find out the truth because she doesn't know to tell me without taking me off. They were dating a long-distance relationship. Since then, I knew I couldn't really trust her entirely, but I continued seeing her despite all that. Fast forward to a month ago, her boyfriend finally flew over to come see her. She didn't tell me that he was back though. I managed to find out the details from friends only after he's been back for 2 days. Just last week she told me that she loves me but couldn't leave her boyfriend because apparently he plays a big role in her business. She even admitted to be a very practical person. I then suggested the idea of one last date. It was a childish attempt to make her choose me. We went for a fancy dinner, had drinks, and we slept together as well. At the end of the day, I asked her if I made her change her mind. She teared up, thanked me for planning and doing so much for her, but she couldn't say yes to me. One of the many dates, because we subsequently went out a few more times, and still are seeing/sleeping with one another. Okay, so we are all in agreement, right? That person is definitely the a-hole. You will always be the a-hole for, entertaining, cheating, and stuff like that. But don't worry, OB. You're not the only bad one in the situation, because the girl you're seeing is also a massive a-hole. Just a quick note. You can probably tell there's a difference. For me, right now, it's the next day. It's just past 7 o'clock at night. I've just had a shower, my hair's wet. Everyone was so noisy outside yesterday, so we had to stop filming. And my fiance's just left the room while he waits for our food, so that I can finish this video. So I'm gonna try and be quick because he is feeling a bit under the weather, and I don't like kicking him out of our room. Okay. Okay, this one is by Hot Story 9390. It's titled, "Am I the a-hole for asking the check to be split after my date was rude?" I had a date with a girl. We had been messaging back and forth for a couple weeks, and I said we should meet and get to know each other. She agreed, and we set a time and place. We met outside and made our way in together, making small talk. We got to our table and the conversation flowed. It looked like it was going good. The topic got onto previous dates we had, mainly the bad ones. She said she had quite bad luck with dates and guys being only after one thing. She then made the comment, "I hope just because you're buying dinner you don't expect me to sleep with you." I was a little taken aback with that and said no, of course not. She just rolled her eyes. We got back to normal conversation for a bit, but I have to admit that after those comments I was put off her. The day carried on, but the vibe was dead and I wasn't interested in seeing her again or carrying any kind of relationship. When the check came, I brought down my card and the server brought over the machine and I gave him my card and said to split the check. She looked surprised at me and started to reach for her bag. She asked the server if he could give us a minute. When looking in her bag, she angrily said, "I thought you were paying." I kind of sarcastically replied, "Just because I asked you out, you shouldn't expect that I would buy you dinner. If looks could kill, I would be dead." She mumbled that I was an a-hole and pulled her card out. We left quickly after that and went our separate ways. I told a friend this and she said I was an a-hole for doing that as I asked her out. I said I just followed her rules by not to expect anything. Am I the a-hole here? No, definitely not the a-hole. I know that it's kind of like, what's the word? Like people are used to the man being the one paying. Like traditional, it's traditional for the man to pay, but I personally I've never like felt comfortable with expecting anyone to pay for me for anything at all. When I was dating, whenever I would be asked out, I would never assume that they were going to pay. So if I was in a bad financial space at the time, I would ask if we could go on a cheaper date or if we can do it like the week after or something so I can get a bit of money together. Because I would never just assume. So no, not the a-hole, not the a-hole. Okay. This one is by Background Reporter 35 and it's titled, "Am I the a-hole for not letting my date use my bathroom?" I, 22 female, recently went out on a date with a guy, 25 male, that I met on Tinder. We never met before our date, but we texted for about a week prior, and I thought he was a really nice guy. Our date went well. He was a little pompous and a little overly flirty, but a nice guy nonetheless. We live in a college town and the restaurant we went to was walking distance to my apartment, so he offered to walk me home after. I thought this was such a green flag and really appreciated his offer as it was late and getting dark outside. I accept his offer. He walks me home and I tell him how much I appreciate it. I even tried to set up another date on the spot. He then offers to come inside and show me a few local bars he knows of. I thought this was weird because he knows I'm a local. So I tell him we could get together in the morning for coffee so he can show me my treat. He tries pretty hard to convince me that it's still early and we can plan it really quickly, but I tell him I want to work on a few homework assignments. He accepts this, but then asks to come in and use my bathroom, which kind of made my heart sink. I tell him he can use my leasing office restroom, which is right inside the lobby of my apartment, and he became noticeably irritated exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, "I didn't realise you were such an uptight bitch. I'll use the 7-Eleven bathroom," and he walked away. I felt horrible. Am I wrong? A pretty important detail. I had a bad experience with bringing a guy I didn't know that well over to my apartment last year, and I make it a point not to do it anymore. This is something that unfortunately is no longer in my comfort zone as a woman living alone. Girl, you are absolutely not the a-hole. Like, regardless if you've ever had a bad experience before, the guy should be, if he was actually a decent guy, he would be understanding of the fact that you're not comfortable taking people you don't know that well into your apartment, and he would understand the implications behind it, and he wouldn't want to make you feel that way. So, you know, he'd be fine with that, and he'd apologise, and he'd, you know, not make a big deal out of it. But you offered him a different solution, which made you feel safer and allowed him to go to the bathroom, and he wasn't happy with it. So that to me just makes it clear that he had different intentions, and he didn't just want to use the bathroom. So I'm glad you went with your gut and stood your ground. Okay, this next one is, am I the a-hole for joking I'm dating the wrong friend? And it's by, am I the AITA _ was I wrong in this? It sounds like they made that account just to post this. I've been with my girlfriend for about 6 months, and we started hanging out with our groups of people, introducing each other to them, being more official. Last night was my turn to meet my girlfriend's friends. She was actually invited to a friend's birthday get-together, and the friend had told her to bring me as well. At the event, another girl, Beth, was there as well. She is a friend of the birthday girl, but not of my girlfriend. In fact, my girlfriend doesn't particularly like her, saying she has a habit of bad-mouthing people, and the common friend, birthday girl, has implied in the past that Beth has done the same thing to my girlfriend. We were at a restaurant, and me and my girlfriend happened to sit across from Beth. My girlfriend doesn't do red meats or red wine, opting for white wine and seafood mostly. I'm a huge steak and red wine guy, and when Beth ordered the same thing, I joked, "I'm dating the wrong friend." I could feel the temperature drop on my girlfriend's side, and when we got home, she lashed at me for saying that. And of all people, to Beth. I told her it's not a big deal, as it was just a joke, and then she said I could have made any other joke, and now Beth would probably talk shit about how her boyfriend liked her all over town. I think this is petty girl drama, but I do feel bad for making her feel bad. Am I the a-hole? In my opinion, absolutely, yeah. I guess it would be kind of different if you were together for a longer time and, you know, you were all a tight-knit group and, like, comfortable and confident in yourselves and your relationships, but to make that joke to somebody that you've just met, and you know that this person is a bit of a mean girl and your girlfriend doesn't like her, to say that joke to her, especially when you've only been dating for 6 months, and then, you know, these two girls pretty much hate each other. in my opinion, that's such a shitty thing to do. Like, he picked the worst person as well to like make it about. Definitely the ALLLL, in my opinion. Again, let me know, guys, if you have different ideas to me, because I just find it interesting. Okay, this one's by Cheap Apartment D, and it's titled, "Am I the ALLLL for telling my boyfriend that he can't date younger and then get upset about my budget apartment?" So, I recently got together with a guy from my hobby. He asked me out first, and I had some doubts that we'd work together as a couple because of the age difference. He's 35 and I'm 22. So, in my apartment, since it's an old house that was originally a single-family house, there isn't much soundproofing, and the floors creak when people move. I've gotten used to the sound of the guy upstairs getting up at 4 AM since he starts work at 5, and the sound of the girls in the apartments to either side of mine watching telenovelas till midnight, taking work calls all day and having friends over on weekend nights. I know when I play music or have friends over, some of the sound leaks through the walls, so I'd never get upset about hearing my neighbours because it goes both ways. So when my boyfriend started coming over more often, he had complaints about the neighbours, which put me in an awkward place. He wanted to go speak to them or have me text them, and I said no. For example, one of the early times he stayed over, we went to bed around 10. He wanted me to ask my neighbour to turn down her TV. I said she didn't have it that loud and she turns it off at midnight anyway. At 4 AM he got very irritated with my upstairs neighbour getting up and cooking breakfast. I said that he would be done by 5 because that's when his shift starts. At 7 AM he was still trying to sleep in, and the neighbour on the other side had some work calls that he said he couldn't sleep through. I offered him earplugs and he said he couldn't sleep with them in either. He wanted me to ask her to quiet down. He had similar comments every time he heard someone else in the building just living their life, especially if it was when he was in bed. I got frustrated with my boyfriend and told him, you can't expect to date a hot young 22-year-old and not want to deal with a 22-year-old's living situation. I don't know if you realise, but this is a normal apartment for someone my age. Hell, my neighbours are pretty great. Nobody's throwing loud parties on work nights. Nobody's having screaming fights. Nobody's having babies. The hot young part was in sarcastic air quotes because those were his words, not mine. He got irritated and asked why I was bringing age into it, and I said it's because he can't both want someone so young and also want someone with house kind of money, and he was being so out of touch with how normal people in their 20s live. He got really irritated with me bringing age into it, and even more annoyed when I'd respond to his neighbour complaints in the future with, "Okay, boomer," or tell him that if he wanted me to have a rich person apartment, he could pay for it. Am I the a-hole for what I said to my boyfriend about my apartment? Edit. A lot of comments are asking if we could stay at his house. It's not possible for me to get to his house on my own because I don't have a car and the buses don't go that far into the suburbs. So that would mean him driving 30 minutes from his house in the suburbs to pick me up, then an extra 30 to drive me to his house. The then an hour round trip early in the morning to get me home in time for work. It's a lot easier for him to visit me in the city. Edit 2. A lot of people in the comments are saying technically 35 is a millennial, not a boomer. I know that. I'm using boomer as a joke or a figure of speech to say acting out of touch and entitled to tell other people what to do. Edit 3. I googled his property records for his house and he owns it with a woman who shares his last name. I don't know if she's his wife or ex-wife or what, but I'm out of here. I'm honestly freaking out right now, but I just gotta say, great big thank you to everyone who noticed red flags and made me question that. I've blocked his number. He can have fun figuring out where I went. Sorry guys, my dog keeps whining. There's people walking past the house and she does not like that. It's just a miracle she hasn't barked yet. No, you're not the a-hole. Like you said, if he wants to date someone young, he has to deal with the problems that younger people face. It's really hard financially. It's really hard mentally, emotionally, just at all being young and, getting out there in the world for the first time. It's scary and it's tough, and unless you have a lot of help, it's usually really tough financially. It's really tough for me financially right now. But yeah, no, not the a-hole. If he really wanted to see you that badly and not have to deal with the noise and stuff, he would make that 30-minute trip there and back. When I met my fiance, he had to travel about the same amount of time, about 30 minutes, if there was no traffic, to come get me and bring me to his house, because my house was filled with drama all the time, and he was happy to do that. He just wanted to see me. And I think it's just entitled to think that, other people should live by your schedule. Everyone has different lives, different needs. You just gotta deal with it, like the OB said. The other people are being as respectful as they can. They're literally just living their life. It's not their fault that the walls are super thin. It's just how it is. So yeah, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Okay, this is gonna be the last one for tonight. This is by Ladies Throwaway Thing. It's titled, Am I the a-hole for playing a dating game when I have a boyfriend? Also, people are talking outside again. I'm sorry. I hope you can just ignore it, because this is my only chance to film. The video is supposed to go up in a couple hours and I need to edit it and get it. I, 21 female, and my boyfriend, 22 male, got into an argument about a dating game I was playing. Super TLDR, the game is called Love and Deep Space. It's a mobile game. It's a mobile at-home game. A game that revolves around romancing men for a female audience, where you go through a main storyline with some romance elements, but it's also a gacha game, and you roll for 5-star cards. The 5-star cards have romantic cutscenes, angsty cutscenes, or sometimes spicier cutscenes, with making out and implied sex. There are some more romantic / sexual elements to the game as well, but I'm keeping this brief. I started playing this game 2 weeks ago after my friends recommended it, and now I play it somewhat frequently as it's become my current hyperfixation. Every now and then I get really into things for 1 to 6 week periods, e.g. Super Smash Bros, Kirby, Bleach, etc. feature where you can introduce the love interests to real life parents on a period tracker. Crazy shit like that. Mainly though, I just chat with my friends about it. My boyfriend a few days ago voiced how he was bothered with how invested I was in the game, and was starting to feel a bit insecure because I liked the spicier cutscenes, / thought the men were attractive. He brought this up to me, and I tried to assure him that while I enjoyed the sexual element of the game, it's not that deep and I don't like fictional men over him. He still didn't like it though, and it bothered him when I played the game next to him, so I decided to just delete the app and not play anymore to give him peace of mind. However, I still watch videos about it on YouTube/TikTok and chat about it with my friends. I do talk about the spicier elements with them as well, like that character is so fine dude, and I enjoy this first trap TikTok edits of the guys. But I also love the lore and wanted to make more art / a short animation about it. I'm a sucker for cheesy / tragic romance plotlines, which there are a lot of in this game. He got upset about all this and went on a rant about how I can't let this game go, and how I'm way too obsessed with these fictional men. This is the point where I don't know if I'm the a-hole or not. I don't think it's a big deal, but maybe I'm being insensitive / my perception is skewed because I'm the one who likes it. Do I need to call Turkey stop interacting with the game? I don't want to hurt his feelings / worry him about this, but it's something I've really been enjoying / feeling inspired by lately. Is it normal for a guy to feel jealous about this kind of thing? Someone in the comments said, he's jealous of you playing a romance mobile game. That's no different than gushing over people in movies or in romance books, which I think pretty much everyone does to some extent. If the game is interfering with your life, e.g. you neglect basic chores, work, etc. to play, that's a different, valid issue. Otherwise he's just being jealous and controlling. Not the a-hole in my opinion. He sounds very insecure, which is fine, it's fine to be insecure, but you can't project that on other people the way that he's doing. Like that comment said, he's being very controlling. She even stopped playing the game and deleted it to try and make him happy, but she was not allowed to even bring it up to her friends and stuff. That's very controlling in my opinion, and I think that's crazy. So yeah, not the a-hole, and yeah, just not the a-hole, not the a-hole. But I do wish I